Hello and welcome to Master the Secrets of U.S. Customs Bonds. My name is Tyler Zeichkin and I am the National Sales and Marketing Manager at TRG. I have worked in the international insurance market for the past 5 years and I am excited to share with you a small part of the knowledge that I have gained. This webinar is being presented by Trade Risk Guarantee Brokerage Services LLC, better known as TRG. TRG is located in beautiful downtown Bozeman, Montana, the gateway to Yellowstone National Park. For those of you who have visited Bozeman or planning to visit Bozeman in the future, we are located on the second floor, right above the historic Rocking R Bar. If you are in town, I would encourage you to stop by the office and visit with us. We love meeting our customers and friends face to face. Our direct-to-importer business model is unique to the customs bond and cargo insurance markets. Over the past 25 years of business, we have grown to work with over 10,000 importers, exporters, manufacturers, and other professionals involved in international trade. As an important disclaimer, the information presented in this webinar is for information purposes only and is not intended and does not constitute legal or customs advice. This webinar will be recorded and available on YouTube after the presentation. A link to the slides will be provided in the video description. If you have a question during the webinar, use the comment section to submit your inquiry. After the presentation, the questions will be reviewed and answered by myself or our team of licensed customs brokers. Also, join the conversation in our Facebook group, International Trade Professionals TRG. A link to the group will be provided in the video description. We will be compiling and answering the most common questions asked during the webinar series and opening the discussion to include the international trade community. In addition, look here for answers to other common importing questions as well as great content about international trade. This webinar will cover 4 topics specific to U.S. customs bonds that are often overlooked. These topics are extremely important for all importers to understand, as a misstep could lead to thousands in fines and penalties. We will be discussing the 3 parties involved in a U.S. customs bond, the contractual obligation of both the importer and the surety to U.S. Customs, the transfer of damages from customs to the surety after a claim has been paid, and finally, how you can best protect your business from losses and claims. The first item we'll be covering are the 3 parties of a U.S. customs bond. As with any other surety bond, there are 3 parties involved in a U.S. customs bond: the obligee, the principal, and the surety. In the case of a customs bond, U.S. Customs and Border Protection takes on the role of the obligee, the party to which monies may be owed. In a situation where the principal, in this case the importer of record, can't or won't pay monies owed to the obligee, the surety is liable to pay up to the bond amount. As you may be familiar, most importer bonds are written as a $50,000 bond. So in this case, the surety company would hold liability up to $50,000 per bond period. Noticeably absent from the parties involved is the freight forwarder or the customs broker. Although a forwarder or broker may assist the principal in obtaining a bond, they are not listed as a party of the bond contract and do not hold liability in the importing process. Now that we know the 3 parties involved in a customs bond, we can further examine the contractual obligation each party is responsible for. In the case of a customs bond, both the surety company and the importer of record are contractually obligated to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. The importer of record is liable for all monies due to CBP up to and beyond the bond amount. The surety company, however, is only liable up to the dollar amount of the bond annually, and only if the importer of record can't or won't pay. Using the same $50,000 importer bond example, the importer of record is not only liable for the bond amount, but any monies that they owe. This could be $60,000, $75,000, or even $100,000 during an annual bond period. The surety company, however, is only liable up to the $50,000 bond amount per bond period. In situations where claims span multiple bond periods, the surety company's liability may double, triple, or more. Now you may be asking yourself how to determine what bond term a claim falls on. This will be based on the date the entry was filed, not on the date the claim was received. Claims may come up much later, But if two separate entries were filed, one on the last day of the first bond term and the second on the first day of a new bond term, and claims arise for both, the surety would be liable up to the bond amount for each bond term. It is important to note that although the surety is often an insurance company, the surety bond is not a typical insurance policy and is not in place to pay monies owed on the importer's behalf. When the surety does pay out to customs, the damages owed transfer from CBP to the surety. In the case of a surety payout, the importer of record is not absolved of its obligation. Instead, the damages owed to customs are transferred to the surety. The surety now has legal authority to collect these damages directly from the importer of record. Although the obligation to customs may be satisfied, the importer of record is still liable for the damages to the surety. Furthermore, if claims owed by the importer of record are above and beyond the bond amount, the importer is still liable for those monies due to customs and not paid by the bond. Using that $50,000 example again, if claims arise in the bond period totaling $75,000 and the surety receives a demand notice from customs and has to pay out, the importer is still liable for the full $75,000. $25,000 of that to customs and $50,000 to the surety. They are in no way absolved of their duty or responsibility to pay. A U.S. Customs bond is not an insurance policy and should never be considered one. Rather, the surety bond is in place to protect U.S. Customs. The importer of record is ultimately liable for all damages paid by the surety. You can see that as an importer, defending your company from claims in the first place is the best way to protect your business. The first step to protecting your business is working with the best vendors. This doesn't mean the cheapest, and it doesn't mean the most expensive, but instead, choosing vendors that encourage open communication and exemplify trust and teamwork is a great place to start. Ultimately, it is up to your company to vet your vendors and ensure that they share similar business values and ethics to your own. The second item on our checklist is to secure a customs bond early. With ISF enforcement in full force, claims can start accruing before your goods even hit the water. Often forgotten by new and experienced importers alike, making sure you have a bond on file well before an ISF must be submitted or an entry must be filed is a crucial step in avoiding common claims. Next, keep amazing records. CBP has a 6-year statute of limitations for liquidated damages penalties and a 5-year record-keeping requirement for all customs business. It is not the responsibility of your broker to keep records for your company. Make sure you are not only keeping customs documents, but also phone and email records with your vendors and CBP. Keeping great records makes handling claims swiftly that much easier if and when a claim arises. The fourth item on our list is to monitor and review your compliance. Make sure you are signed up for ISF progress reports through ACE. Review your HTS codes annually, or even better, use a CBP Center of Excellence and Expertise to provide a binding ruling for your imports. Track the timeliness of your vendors and hold them accountable to regulations and expectations. Don't forget, your vendors work for you. Be informed and have meaningful conversations about how you can work together to be more compliant. The final item on our list is to manage claims swiftly. Claims will occur from time to time. How you handle them is important. If you do receive a notice from customs, make sure you fully understand the claim and handle it as quickly and efficiently as possible. If your broker offers to handle the claim, ask them for more information regarding what you can do to mitigate the risk in the future. You may find out that a claim is due to untimely filing or payment of duties. Whether or not this was the fault of your broker, the importer is ultimately liable for the monies due and should be aware of how it is being handled. Claims do not just go away. Be aware and handle swiftly to avoid more costly fines, penalties, and possibly interest. As a quick recap, today we covered 4 topics: the 3 parties involved in a U.S. customs bond, the contractual obligation of both the importer and the surety to U.S. Customs, the transfer of damages from customs to the surety after a claim has been paid, and finally, how you can best protect your business from losses and claims. Before we end the webinar, I want to take the chance to speak on TRG's unique position in the customs bond market. Our direct-to-importer business model saves businesses both time and money. We offer multi-year billing cycles up to 5 years on a $50,000 bond for only $225 a year. If a claim does arise, our in-house licensed customs brokers can help you handle your claim swiftly and with professional assistance. Because the bond is not tied to your broker, you can continue working with any broker or forwarder you choose. If you are searching for a new broker, consider our strategic business partner, Strix. Strix specializes in working with small to medium-sized importers who are looking for superior customer service and education for their customs clearance. Strix is a full-service brokerage offering ISF, entry, and classification services. Look for a link to strixsmart.com in the video description. If you have any questions, reach out at any time and we'd be happy to discuss all of our bond and other options with you. Thank you so much for attending today. TRG's webinars are created to provide educational content to new and existing importers. If you have an idea for a topic you would like covered in more detail, email us at askanexpert@traderiskguarantee.com or use Facebook or Twitter to reach out. You can always reach me directly at tzeichkin@traderiskguarantee.com. Thanks again. We look forward to seeing you at our next presentation.